how do you use data to drive your work in media relations and influencers and targeting your messaging?
Yeah, well, influencers, I mean, we will definitely look at kind of what's the relative power score, if you will, of a particular outlet and a particular, journalist within that outlet. Meaning, does a particular journalist at, let's say, the Wall Street Journal, for example, does their coverage tend to get syndicated? Do people seem to share it? Do they have a good degree of followership on social? That's kind of what we'll look at in terms of targeting the influencers that matter in the actual field of journalism. But more and more, as we move into an environment of, anybody can be a journalist with a blog, or anybody can be a journalist with a pretty strong social media platform. As we look at those individuals, we want to look at kind of the level of engagement and kind of the quality of that person's audience. You could be somebody who on Twitter may only have 150 followers, but if those 150 followers are 150, kind of high-value folks that you want to create a relationship with, then that person may be an influencer. But you also want to look at, too, does that person's social footprint have a good amount of engagement? Are they just pumping information out that a lot of people aren't commenting on? Kind of like what's their level of activity, and not just kind of one way pumping stuff out? Are they truly a thought leader? Those are the types of analytics that we'll use when we're looking at who influencers are. I could remember, it was probably a decade ago or so that people would just look at somebody's overall, sheer numbers of followers to really kind of say that, hey, this is somebody who I need to make sure that they're potentially tweeting about my company, or that they're engaged in some way. To me, that's less of a value in terms of, are we getting to the right people, and are we getting to the right people about topics that stimulate engagement, that stimulate sharing? That's where I think the new frontier, if you will, of influencer engagement really is going. Because you also really kind of find a lot of interesting folks that you may not have turned to. There could be a professor at a university who just wrote a book on a topic that might be of key interest to your company, who might be somebody that you would target. But they may have flown under the radar if you aren't set up with the ability to kind of seek out who those folks are and kind of look at kind of what their profile is.